Okay. That's perfectly fine. Remember, mark, set, go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of the A.P.B. I'm your host, Brian Black. Unfortunately, my co-host couldn't make it today, but don't worry, we have the beautiful, talented Vivian Sinya.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh my goodness.
I had to put on my sexy voice.
All right, Marilyn Monroe. All right. So, if you want to give a little backstory, how do we know each other?
Oh, do we want to tell them this story?
Well, if you want to keep the clean parts, I mean, let's keep it.
Oh my god.
Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it,
Okay, I'll keep it simple. We went to high school together.
Okay. All right. Little did she know, I had a huge ass crush on her. The first, when I first saw her. What she doesn't remember to this day is that she told me that she thought I was cute. She don't remember this.
I do remember this.
You do remember that?
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
We were in your mom's apartment at that time, right?
Oh, I did. I already told you this before. I told you.
No, I remember it.
No, I remember when you told me no, because we were coming out of my first and probably last semester in honors English, and what was the teacher's name again? Sophomore year. I came in sophomore year, but she had a crush on me, and after then I was like, she was it. But unfortunately, she shot me down. She didn't want me. So
wait, how did I shoot? What did I say?
Well, she put me off onto her friend who I definitely didn't want. I kind of just being a lonely ass high school boy, horny, ended up with, an individual. We'll leave it at that. All right. Since then, we've been friends, kicking it, hanging out, doing our own little thing. Vivian is a photographer, videographer. Anything else we need to add to your repertoire?
I'm a body positive advocate. I stand for women that maybe have self-esteem issues. I want to help them and inspire them to be comfortable in their own skin and to just love the body that they're in, because for so long it took me to get to that place where I was really happy with myself. And ever since I've come to this new way of thinking, I just want to share that with the world. So that's something else that I do, and yeah.
All right. Let's clap that up.
And I like long walks on the beach, and expensive dinners, and
expensive dinners.
Private jets. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness. Fellas, if you like long walks, if you like expensive dinners, and if you have a jet, you too can take her out. Good luck with that. There's somebody out there. There's definitely somebody out there jet setting in the world. I definitely believe that she can definitely have that individual. I guess I'm not that. I'm already cast out by expensive dinners, and jet blew it out the water.
No.
that was it for me. All right. We're going to get into the topic.
Okay.
So what I've been experiencing is, in my dating experiences, I've always heard the complaint, the men don't do what they used to back in the day. Mm-hmm. They want...
Preach. Thank you, Lord.
It's not going in the direction you think it is. So, I always hear that men aren't men anymore. Men aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And that women want and deserve that old school love. The love that was unconditional. The one where men didn't do wrong by their women. And I'm going to be the first to say that's total horseshit. Everything that happened then is happening now. The reason we can talk about it like it's like those were the golden ages, because we already know the story. It's come and it's went. That's why people have the luxury of saying they miss that old school love. That love was no different than the love we have to this day.
Okay, but define old school love. What is your definition of old school love?
Well, I don't know if I can have a definitive old a definition of old school love because I don't think it exists. I think it's the same exact love and emotions we've been exhibiting throughout time. So, but you obviously have a definition of old school love. So why don't you inform me on what old school love is?
I don't know. I think when I think of old school love, I think of the guy like courting the girl and like dating and kind of like having romance, and then to the point where it's like you guys make it official and it's just you and that individual, and like when I think about it, I think of like Love Jones, like how I think of like I don't know, I just that the movie Love Jones like flashes into my head when I think of like old school love.
Okay.
And nowadays, like I don't feel like I guess I agree with you in the sense that it doesn't exist now because I think dating doesn't really exist now.
Okay. So first off, when you said I think you were referring to Love Jones, and my immediate response when you said Jones, I thought what song I immediately thought about though, which would completely blow your situation out the water, was Me and Mrs. Jones.
Oh.
And I was like, mind you,
no,
30, 40 years ago, meeting in the same cafe every day. That's not his lady. That's not her man. That's where I thought you were going with that. Which proves my point. But you were talking about Love Jones.
Yeah.
But Love Jones I feel like Love Jones was a perfect example of today in bullshit fuckery. Like she ended up.
No, I know. I agree with you. It's like, don't get me wrong. They still have their problems and their issues, but like at the end, like they wanted each other. They wanted to be with each other, and it was just them. You know what I mean?
I get that.
But like I said, I feel like that doesn't even like that whole the process of like being with someone or just having that type of love, it doesn't develop the same way nowadays, in my opinion. Not all the time. I don't want to say this is like this never happens. I actually just went to a wedding.
Same.
Okay, so you just went to a wedding.
I just went to a wedding. It was beautiful.
Oh, right. I went to a beautiful wedding in Paris. So and she's my friend, and she married her fiance. And they look very happy together. They're very much in love. They've been together for a really long time. So it's not to say that I don't think love exists, but I just think it's, I don't know, fizzling out, maybe?
Fizzling out.
There's still some, it's still out there. I'm not going to say it's completely gone, but I feel like it's rare now. It's like very rare.
I would agree and disagree at the same time. First off, let me start by saying, wedding in Paris, yeah, shit's on my wedding in Detroit. Doesn't even sound remotely the same. It was like you went to Disneyland and I went to Discovery Zone. Like that's what happened. Discovery Zone doesn't even exist anymore. I would say that the love still is there for a lot of individuals. I just think we are preoccupied with ourselves in a lot of ways. A lot of opportunities haven't been given to a lot of individuals, and now they're getting those recognitions that they rightfully deserve. And I'm speaking particularly about women and minorities. And so I think we've had to pull back the curtain on certain situations. And then the term old school love for me is, and this is probably my nerve coming out and stuff like that, like it can't be really old school love. Old school love is technically really, in history's time, really new. Like people weren't getting, 100 years ago, people were not getting married for love. People were getting married to trade off in businesses. Like it was a business transaction.
How many years ago is this?
100. No, we're almost 2020. So little bit over 100 years ago, right? But I just don't see where people get this notion that love is gonna work itself out and everything comes together. You know what I call it? I call it the Disney syndrome. I call it the Disney syndrome. I feel like anybody and everybody, we've watched too many fairy tales. Cinderella, Snow White, what was that? Aladdin, whatever you want to think about, where there's a damsel in distress or there's some type of catastrophe, and then there's a man on a white horse that comes in and saves the day. That is no longer the situation.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, Disney has totally fucked it up for us ladies. Like, for a long time, I was like, where is my Prince Charming? Where is he at? He should be like this. And, you know, I kept thinking like, oh, I'm looking for someone to save me and take care of me and, you know, do all these things. But it's not really supposed to be that way. I mean, yeah, you want someone to take care of you, you know, if you get sick or whatnot. You want someone to love you and be there for you, but you don't want to put it all on one person. You don't want to rely all on one person, and I feel like it's... So I do agree with you in that sense.
Okay. All right. I mean, I find it odd when people say, you know, I miss the old love. Like, you know, I had a relative to, you know, speak on certain songs like, well, man, same things you were asking for. They were, you know, courting, they were dating. They, you know, when the decision was to be made that they were going to be official, and everybody was going to be completely monogamous and respect each other's relationships the best way they knew how. Well, I think the lines are a little blurred now. You don't know when and where. You know, we're playing a tug of war. We're playing, you know, it's chess. You don't know what move is the best move and what's going to happen next. You know, you reach out to somebody, you tell them, hey, I'm interested in this, that, and the third, and I want to be there with you. They may not be receptive to that. And at which point in time you get shut down and you have to reevaluate your situation. Yeah. You know, I've been in multiple situations where a person wanted me I wanted them and it wasn't reciprocated or the timing was off. It was like Erykah Badu's Next Lifetime.
I love that.
It was like, but then what happens is they come in and they tell me, or their situation is changed. Well, I wasn't waiting. My situation has changed now too. And so then, I find that I get a lot of animosity towards me when that happens, as if though I was supposed to be waiting like forever. Yeah. So, I mean, could you explain that to me as to why that is? I'm not actually.
I can't help it if a girl didn't want you, Brian. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh. I can't help you on that. So, you know, I mean, it could be anything.
Oh, but I mean, it's not that. It's that I want them. They didn't want me at the time. Now.
I mean, but that's within, like, we all go through that.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Can I, since we're live, can I read you some of these comments?
You surely can. I'm scared, but go ahead.
So some of the comments are, love is not the only thing that keeps a marriage together, which is very true.
True.
And then Disney hurt many of us, which I totally agree. And another comment, I'm reading all of Leanne Sims' comments, by the way.
All right, cool.
I do feel like men seem more respectful in desire of marriage back in the day.
All right, my argument there. It may be true. You know the one thing that's changed over the past decades? What's the number one thing that's changed over?
Technology.
There you go. Technology. That has been the number one key in exposure to everything. People have been behaving the same way, talking the same way. The only thing that's made it more obvious and more, you know, I don't know what you would call it, surprising, is that technology. People are able to see how other people think and behave and finding out that they're neither not alone or they are alone in certain situations. So the person who's like, never cursed or didn't believe in this, and then you find out that there is another person.
Okay, well, so I'm going to, we're still in the same ballpark, but I'm going to throw something out there.
Okay.
Do you think that it's harder for men to, find that one or settle down because of porn?
Because of porn?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel like I'm a single woman. I am in the dating world per se, but I come across a lot of men who say they want to be in a relationship or say they want to be with a girl, but the moment they talk to you, it's all about sex, and I feel like, is that because they watch a lot of porn, and so their mind is mentally like damaged on like, okay, I just want like sex, 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 and there's sex everywhere, even if you're not looking at porn. Instagram, Facebook, whatever, like there's sexual images of women all the time. This is for single men. And that like that's like the forefront of their mind is like, sex, 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 sex. So when you think of like, okay, a relationship or developing like that old school love is about more than just sex and physicalness. And that's something that I feel like in this generation, like, it's all about how you look and like, how much you turn them on before they can even think about, okay, what is in this girl's mind? So as a man, what do you think about that?
I wouldn't say that porn is a factor as much as people would like to think. Don't get me wrong. I think porn has definitely given us some complex disorders. But I would argue that dealing with
Brian is stumped.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay, so here's where we're going. So, reason men, like, you asking me why men aren't settled? You asking me why aren't men settling down, and you think one of the causes is porn, correct?
I'm saying maybe that's why there's not like that old school love type of feeling anymore, is because everything is more sexual. Like back in the day when my mom was dating my dad, they didn't have technology. They didn't have, they couldn't just go on the internet and look at porn. My dad had to go to a freaking store that had like Playboy in it to look at porn.
You had to buy a magazine. Yes, you had to go buy.
So it wasn't easily accessible, and it's like now that you can just get these images whenever you want, you can just like jack off whenever you want. You really don't need to have a woman, by your side.
And you really don't need to have a man by your side. By that standards, I know plenty of women who watch porn, probably just as much as I do, and like, I can guarantee you, I don't know what's in your closet or what's in your drawer, but I'd be pressed to believe that half your people on your live right now, women, don't have a drawer right now with at least 2 or 3 items just for those.
No, I'm not saying, hey,
so I'm saying,
all for female sexual pleasure. All I'm saying is that I feel like there's a difference between, like, women still want a connection, they want companionship, they want, romance. Not all women, I'm sure some women don't want that stuff.
I would argue this.
Most women want that stuff.
I would argue this. Most men do want those things. However, sex is definitely a factor. And unfortunately, it becomes a numbers game. A lot of people don't want to hear this, especially women, especially black women, and if we get into that element. Like, there are more women in this. So there's like a 3-to-1 situation when it comes to women to men. So what does that say about men to women?
Oh my gosh, I hear this all the time. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry if I sound like the common man, but it happens to be. So
you have so many options, and that's why, and see, that's what fucks y'all up at the end
I
of the
do have
day.
options. But you know what? I'm not going to deny it. I've run across plenty of women who I've probably ran across wifey several times and dropped the ball. Because why? I go by the what's the Miracle song? Oh yeah.
What do you mean Miracle? Like
the singers, the Miracles, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles.
Oh, okay.
You better shop around, and that is what the fuck I've been doing, shopping around. And who told him that? His mama.
Okay, and how old are you now?
I'm 31.
So do you realize everyone is getting married now? So I think you should start to head out.
That's not.
Check out.
Hey. I got a shitload of friends. I've only been to 2 weddings. So
just look on Facebook is like married, got engaged, married, got engaged, married. Oh, we just had our first baby. Married.
So I've seen more babies and more engagements than I have seen marriages. And I will sit there and say, like, there are people right now in limbo engagements. Why? Because that nigga has no intention on marrying that chick. He likes her. He probably loves her, but he really don't want to marry her. That was the bait. That was the bait to reel in. Like, I got it. Sounds terrible. I know, but this is how dudes behave. I'm not saying they don't happen, but I've got like 10 good friends, and I only got 1 good friend that got married. So right now,
what would be your complaint in the dating world? And since you're a single man, right?
No, I'm not single at this time.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
I can still respectfully answer all questions.
Okay, well.
What do I say or what? Okay, let me be frank. What was the issue when I was dating? The issue that I was dealing with when I was dating was, one, I can be completely honest. One, I just probably was not ready to settle down. I'm not even sure if I'm ready to settle down today. But I will also say that I get a lot of discontent with a lot of individuals. They expect, one thing is I work around, so men don't work on their time. They work on a woman's time. Only time that there's a disconnect is when that nigga decides to tell you, no, we working on my time or our time. Women expect you to work on their time. I can't even count on my hands. It's that many times where I ask somebody out, dates been pushed aside, rain checks, and they can do this 10, 20 times. Let them call me, or let me have a plan, or I have the rain check. Oh, hell no, you're not gonna be out here wasting my time. You just canceled on me 20 times. I canceled on you once. What the fuck is the issue? But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to be called out on their bullshit. And that's the number one thing that happens more times than most. That's just my opinion. And then it is, we all out here mending broken hearts. Like men are mending women's hearts. Women are mending men's hearts. Yeah, we got this, repetitious cycle going on where we out here breaking and fixing. You can only do so much fixing. But apparently you can do a whole lot of breaking.
Okay. All right. Well.
I mean, that might have went a little tangent, but hey, sorry.
Well, all right. So what's the next topic? What else you got for me?
I don't know. It's the pouring. Oh, I'm not done. So one issue is, and I had this conversation with my friend, and we were talking about the women you keep as your lady, and then the women that you fooling around with. There is definitely, not at the same time.
Oh, I'm like, okay, I do know a lot of men who do that, who have like a girlfriend at home with the baby, but be like hanging out with the side chick, and then have another whole other girlfriend, on the west side, while his baby mama is on the south side, and then got a side chick on the east side.
Absolutely. That's.
I mean, honestly,
a lot of my friends, but I'm not gonna air myself out like that. Absolutely not. That's dead. No, what I was referring to was the women we decided to keep as our wives or our lady, and the women we end up treating terribly. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a twofold, because you'll hear people say, all the good girls who save themselves and didn't do this, that, and the third, who aren't getting the rings that they think they so rightfully deserve. And then you got the freaks. Freaks out here getting married every day. No complaints, no issues, wondering why that woman got chose when she did everything by societal standpoint wrong. Well, she didn't let society dictate how she felt about life. And that led her to her man.
That's because men are weak and they think a lot with their penis, and if a woman puts it down sexually nonstop, that clutters their mind, and they keep on coming back, which is why we got a lot of baby mamas and we got a lot of I'm just keeping it real, okay? Like, not to say, like, let me flip this. There's a lot of good girls that can put it down in the bedroom.
True.
I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that, sometimes people can get, pussy whipped. Or, like, a girl could get, like...
Digmatized.
That's a good way. Yeah, I like that word. And so that happens, like, ladies, we know, like... We would go with the thugs, right? The thugs could put it down in the bedroom and everything. You so in love with this thug, even though...
Low key, not knowing the nerds had that work. Hey.
What?
I had that work.
Not knowing, we know the thug is not good for us, but we keep coming back. It's the same thing with y'all, but y'all just don't know how to wrap it up, and then y'all end up having a baby. And then y'all end up in a situation where you're unhappy with.
Well, for someone who...
And I just don't understand. It's like, guys, just put on a condom. Like, I know you guys don't like it. We don't like it either. But do you want to have a child, that you have to take care of for the rest of your life?
Well, I thought I'd have a baby by 30. So, I mean, at this point, it's...
You're doing good, huh?
It's a roll of the dice. Like, I'm doing good. I've been out here, like, it's like the Matrix. I've been Keanu Reeves dodging bullets. Only one day I'm going to get that one in the knee. Anyway.
So you're just like, okay, whatever woman I'm with, if she happens to get pregnant, then she's going to be my baby mama.
I don't want to say it like that.
That's kind of how you just said it, though. Is that what you really think?
I've had multiple situations where, like, there could have been...
But see, that's how... these situations are created where
I didn't say they were all unprotected. I just said, condoms break. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there was no condom, but I'm just saying. But I didn't clarify that for you initially. So, I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Like we have to think about.
We all have a personal responsibility to not only ourselves but to our partner. And if we're dealing with multiple people, to wear a condom or just at the very least disclose what you out here doing, that could be risk for them.
Let me tell you, these women, they hit us. I mean, I'm not gonna say these women. Some women hit a certain age, and if they like the person they're with, they're not gonna. If they want to have a baby. And the guy is not caring if he's putting a condom on or not, and y'all not having a discussion about it, somebody's gonna get pregnant.
So you're saying that so right now I'm 30,
I'm
30.
saying that.
So right now this is trap mode. This early 30s is trap mode because the clock is ticking.
Trap mode can start when you in high school for all you care.
Okay. You said the clock was ticking.
I'm just saying that it depends on who you with or whatnot, but you have to think about it. Like if you are gonna go to bed with somebody, 30 no kids, that's a good life. That is. But if you are having sex with a person nonstop, and you're doing it without a condom, you have to, deep down inside, you have to know, like, I might get her pregnant. And if you might get her pregnant, is this the person that you think can raise your son or daughter? And is this the person that you think you can always, like, you can have a good communication with throughout the rest of your life? Because that's what happens. And guys, like, people don't think about that.
You know what? I would argue differently because I would like to say that everybody that I have been involved with, for the most part, because there have been a few, where I'm very selective on who I sleep with. Like my criteria is there's a criteria, and so I would like to think that if something should happen or they got pregnant, that yeah, I don't mind this person being the mother of my child, whether we end up together or not. But let's be clear, I don't want, you know, I can have a clear definition in my mind of how this person is going to respond and behave if and when we have a child together. But that shit can get thrown out the window the moment they get in their feels. So like let's be clear. Just because you think something about somebody, that can be great and dandy then. Tomorrow it could be a different subject matter.
Okay, totally agree. Hello, everyone on the gram. All right, what is it? Did we talk for too long? Is it over? Or we got something else we can talk?
We didn't talk for too
about?
long, but I do have something. You know what? You brought up, a good topic, a good segue. Fellas, be more selective about the women.
Wait a minute. Let me put the camera on you. So this is like an A.P.B.
Not a problem. Fellas, be more selective with the women you choose to sleep with. I don't hey. I'm for one will be the first one to tell you. I don't care. Like, no, I do care. Granted, I love a fat ass. I want the Coke bottle, boom, boom, boom. Like, I want it all. But make sure that the person you're messing with has their head on a good swivel. Because if not, a world of trouble every time. I cannot stress that enough. For me, you have to have a certain standard for yourself before you can deal with me. Because I think we as men, too often do we put ourselves in certain predicaments with people who we really would not prefer to be around, but because they got a banging body or they look super good, we say fuck it and throw it out the window. Like I don't give a shit if she got a 8th grade education.
I just want to clarify, women do this too.
That's the thing.